Hello friends, welcome to a new video. In this video, I wish to take your attention to the differences in philosophies between the Eastern religions and the Western religions. Eastern religions, by which I mean the Oriental religions, the religions that we see in India, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, and those kind of religions. And even there are other spirit worshipping religions, tribal religions, and all. Like in the Western religions, by I mean is the Semitic religions. You have the Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And obviously, meanwhile, also in between, you can see religions like Zoroastrianism and all that. That comes mostly under the Eastern religions. So the major difference in philosophy is because the Western or the Semitic religions, there is more of a linear way. Right? That means there is one life. At the end of the life, what happens? You die, and then there is a judgment day. At the end of the world, there is a judgment day, right? On the either you go to hell or you go to heaven. So that's one life. You do it, you make it in one life, it's done, otherwise you're gone. That's the general philosophy. It's linear. But if you look into the Eastern philosophies, you can see it's more like circular. That means you have birth, rebirth, birth, and rebirth, right? If you are actually in a situation where you are attaining a human form, that means some good deed that you have done in your previous birth. And within the human life itself, like you can be born from a very high family or in a very low family, it all depends upon certain good things that you have done in your previous birth. So that is where the karma, because depends upon the karma, there is the transmigration. And the ultimate goal of the life is actually to get out of this, from this cycle of birth and rebirth. So there is no concept of heaven and hell. That is the important thing when you see the philosophical aspects of Eastern religions. But this is, although this is the core and crux, let me tell you, or not all actually pertains to this ideology. Because for example, if you look into this Ashoka Dhamma is an variant of Buddhism. But in Ashoka Dhamma, there is this concept like at the end you have heaven or hell. And there are in Puranas also, you can see certain areas where you are actually in Garuda Purana and all, you get that hell, how difficult it is. But Puranas are not actually the philosophical forms of the Eastern religion or Hinduism. It's actually there in the Vedas and Upanishads, where it actually talks about the transmigration of the soul. So my interest today is to make you understand why is it so, basically. Because see, Western religions, like whether it is like Hinduism, not Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, or Christianity, were mostly used as tools for a kind of a territorial conquest or a territorial expansion. So, if you want to motivate your subject, or if you want to motivate your soldier in such a way that you have only one life, this is the life, this is the only one life, either you make it or you are in trouble, that kind of an ideology is actually more suitable for a conquest. But if you look into the Eastern philosophies, mostly you can see this kind of a circular way. Either all, you look into the time frame also. Time is also circular, because you have yugas and yugas coming, and that process continues like that. It's not like you don't have an end of the world or a doomsday. That kind of a situation is not there. Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, right? Finally, Kali Yuga. So that thing is actually continuing. So here you can see it's more circular, and other side it's more linear, is because the way the religions were actually formed and evolved, right? And within the Eastern religions, if you look into within the Hinduism also, you can see it's not exactly that everything is depending upon a particular god. I mean, that's kind of a judging god. That concept is not always there, right? There have been some religions. If you look into Buddhism, it's actually agnostic religion. Agnostic means that they are not caring about whether God exists or not. It's purely agnostic. When Buddha was asked about whether God exists or not, he just literally shut his mouth and said, like, see, I didn't came here to explain all these things. If you want certain things from my side other than this, you can take it or you can leave it. So he's not cared about whether a judging God is existing or not. Mahavir, on the other side, he outrightly rejected gods. He was mostly focusing on Tirthankaras like prophets, but that time also it was rejecting gods. So Buddhism is agnostic, Jainism is atheistic. And there are certain philosophies where in Hinduism that is completely denying God. Okay, for example, the Charvaka philosophy, it's or Logayata philosophy is actually an atheistic philosophy. So atheism is also part of the Hindu religious philosophy. So, and especially when the Western scholars they came to note about these kind of religious philosophies, they were really fascinated about this fact was like why they are always thinking about like there is a circular thing, that is life is like a circle. So that kind of a circular philosophy of non-ending, that means it will come and it will go, but you will be judged based on your karma, is actually something that was fascinating for the Westerners. That is the reason why you can see many groups like the Theosophical Society, especially Theosophical Society was especially a society formed to actually study the Eastern religions, and many of Indian freedom fighters who were actually freedom fighters or some people who were actually sympathizing with the Indian cause came from the Theosophical Society. For example, Annie Besant, she was the first women Congress president at the peak of 1917 and 18. Her popularity was the most. She was even termed as Mother Besant, and she came to India as part of the Theosophical Society. They still have a headquarters in Adayar in Madras. A.O. Hume, the founder of Indian National Congress, he was also coming from the Theosophical Societies. Theosophical Society was formed actually to study this. So this is their the way the Westerners also saw this philosophy is also of very much importance. So my the reason why I did this video is to give you a basic understanding between the Eastern philosophies as well as Western philosophies, and why a judging God who is on top of the sky to judge like based on your problems, like based on your sins you will be in hell or heaven. That kind of a philosophical system was more suitable when religion was used as a political force to conquer the nations, because this is the idea that can be very well injected into the minds of the soldiers or the subjects to fall in line. But in the Eastern world, mostly these religions were formed as part of cultural transformations. Lately, it could have been taken over by empires, but their essential formation was something different. So that's the thing that I wanted to tell between the Eastern and the Western philosophies. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like more such videos based on philosophies, religion, or anything, please do subscribe to the channel. Have a nice day. Bye. Take care.